Hey guys, AJ from GP Factor here. It's another lovely cloudy day in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and today we want to introduce you to the latest in our product lines. We've been working on this one for quite a while, but we are excited to finally announce the INEOS Grenadier Rock Sliders from GP Factor. So let's take a look at the details and what we put into this product. So the styling that we went with for the rock slider was more of a classic rock slider style. It was something that we really liked with the tubular style welded to the actual rectangular tube to kind of match the lines of the truck, but also match the bull bar. It's the same pipe that we use on the bull bar. And we really wanted a real rock slider, and we'll get into the details of the mounts, how they work, and just something that actually serves as a rock slider, but also keeping that classic style with what you see here. It's a 1.9 diameter tube with a 1-2 wall thickness. Same with the inside tube is a rectangular tubing with a 1-2 wall thickness as well. So another aspect of the styling that we did was how far the bar came off of the rectangular tubing. The reason why the bar comes off as far as it does is because we wanted to make sure that it stayed in line with where the door handles are to provide protection for stuff on your doors, but also give a little bit of a utility step without it protruding out way too far like a full-size step. So what really makes these different from a lot of products in the market is we wanted them to be a true rock slider, and what we did was it's actually separate pieces. The slider itself is a separate piece from the mounts. The mounts, which we're going to show you underneath here, are 3 different mounting locations to the factory chassis. So it is a chassis mounted slider, not a body mounted slider, which is what you need if you're going to have a proper rock slider to handle the weight that will be put on top of it. Part of the reasons for the multi-pieces that we have in the mounts was that if you damage your rock slider, you can replace it, you can refinish this if you need to, if it gets torn up or beat up over time on the trails. You can also do maintenance on your mounts if you need to, and it gives it a good system. It also allowed us to put the mounts up high underneath the vehicle so that it's not the lowest point on the chassis, and there's plenty of clearance under there. You don't lose clearance because the mounts are sitting way too low. So the mounts being a separate piece means we used a different material for the mounts. The mounts are actually all made out of 1/4-inch steel. They're all welded together, and that's what bolts directly to your slider, and we'll show you how that bolt system does work on the slider. The mounts of the sliders are all bolted to the slider in 4 locations, 2 in the rear, 1 in the middle, and 1 in the front, and all 4 of those locations are using M12 bolts, and the sleeve of the threading of the bolt is actually welded fully through the tubing of the rectangular tubing. Instead of just putting a nut welded in there, we actually welded an entire sleeve that goes the entire way through, so it's welded on the front and on the back, fully welded around it so that it will not fail, it will not spin out, and it's the strongest it can possibly be to attach your slider to the mounts of the slider that are on the chassis of the truck. One of the other things that we did as well, integrated into the design of the mounts, was the front and the rear mount kept intact the full pad of the mount, and we did that to give a good flat surface. So when this vehicle is getting serviced and they do have to lift it off the ground, there's a place for the jack pads to go, nice flat location for the jack pads to go to handle that weight when they're lifting it off the ground. If you're familiar with our company, you know we do a lot of textured black powder coat. We finished these in the exact same way that we do our bull bars and our winch kits. We found it's a very durable finish. We do a zinc primer over top of the steel after it's been shot blasted properly to prep the surface. It gets zinc primered, then it gets a textured black powder coat. That is the slider. The mounts are a little bit different. All the mounts are finished in the yellow zinc chromate finish. We did that for durability. We did it for corrosion resistance with them being mounted into the vehicle. Also for serviceability. The best part about these sliders that you can unbolt them is that once these get torn up over many years of use, you can always take the slider off, get it refinished in black powder coat if you decide to. And if you want to maintain the yellow zinc chromate mounts underneath, just like the bolts, you can just give them a good coating of WD-40 every single year, and it helps that finish kind of stay, resist that corrosion. Like all GP Factor products, our rock sliders are designed, manufactured, and fully built right here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And we feel that with our attention to detail and our manufacturing process, it gives it a superior quality over a lot of stuff on the market. So Expo West is coming up here in Flagstaff, Arizona. If you want to see these in person, you can come check them out at the booth with OK 4-Wheel Drive and GP Factor. And we will have these available for sale and pre-orders starting this month in May, and they will be shipping most likely sometime this summer. If you have any questions, please reach out and let us know, and we'll see you out there.